Hey, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about metric conversions. This particular lesson that I'm doing is not specific to biology, chemistry, or physics. In fact, you'll probably do some metric conversions in all these classes at a certain point, mostly for chemistry and physics, I would say. And there are different types of conversions you'll see besides metric conversions, but let's just get this one down packed. So one piece of advice I would give you right off the bat would be to memorize this pattern right here. So milli, centi, deci, unit, deca, hecto, kilo. And for some classes, you will go behind milli. You'll go to, nano and pico. And sometimes you'll go above kilometer as well, or kilo in general. There are larger and there are very small types of measurements above and below what I've written on my screen. So that being said, this particular video is just going to help you get used to the pattern and the flow of metric conversions. The first thing I want you to do after memorizing this is sort of understand what's big and what's small. If you've looked at a ruler or some other type of measuring stick, you've seen millimeters, you've seen centimeters. They're pretty small. And you've also probably heard of kilometers or kilometers, depending on where you're from. That's basically like me saying, hey, I went for a mile run, right? A kilometer is not the same thing as a mile, but in terms of distance, we're talking about a relatively long distance, a relatively reasonable length. So the first thing I wrote here says 1 gram is how many kilograms? So we're starting off at unit right here. And unit is like gram, meter, etc. Something that doesn't have a little prefix before it. So if we're starting off at a gram, right? A gram is a lot smaller than a kilogram. Right? Let's just draw this for size purposes. And you'll notice that the distance between the unit and the kilo is 1, 2, 3 jumps. Now, if we're going from something smaller to bigger, it's like taking something that is super small, like let's say maybe a teaspoon of sand and putting it into a bigger bucket. So that being said, when you're going from something smaller to bigger, you're going to be moving the decimal of what you were given, in this instance, the 1, to the left direction. Because when you're expressing something that's small in terms of something big, it's really not going to make the number bigger, it's going to make something smaller. So if you have the 1 here, remember the decimal point. So you're going to move it 3 times to the left. 1, 2, 3. And if we're copying that down here, that will give you 0.001. You can check again just to make sure that was 3, 1, 2, 3 from where we started. Therefore, that's the answer to number 1. And we will erase all this stuff. Bear with me. Then we have the next question, right? Let's say we're talking about a meter. Remember, unit here refers to gram, meter, things such like that. I think those are the most common ones you'll probably get. So how many centimeters is 1 meter? And the great thing about the metric system is that it's essentially just a system of zeros. It's not seeing how many inches this many centimeters is. It's all within tens of each other. So here we go. How many centimeters are how many centimeters are in 1 meter is what I was asking. So we're starting here, right? And then we're going from unit 1, 2. So are we going from smaller to bigger? Is a centimeter larger or is a meter larger? Well, a meter is a lot larger than a centimeter. So that being said, we're putting something big into sort of something that's small. So for example, if you are a size 4 in pants, it's sort of like putting a baby in your size 4 pants, if that makes sense. Not sure that was a good analogy. Anyway, we're moving 2, and we moved to the left over here, which means we're going to move to the right. So that being said, you have 1 meter, that's going to go to 1, 2, hold on. Get the decimal points here, put that as a placeholder, 1, 2. That would give us 100. So there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. And one thing that you want to make sure that you do is label your units. Sometimes professors and teachers will give you points off for not labeling. I'm not even sure if I remember to label the kilogram in the 0.001 kilogram answer for number 1. But always remember to label, and then think about, is what you're writing making sense? If I'm talking about something small, like a centimeter, then I'm going to a kilometer, should I expect the decimal to go to the left or to the right? And generally what you're going to see is that if you're going to the left here, like what we did for meter to centimeter, if you're going to the left like that, your number is going to go to the right, like we did, and vice versa. So that's a little bit about the metric system. You know, you can go between any of the ones that are on here. Oftentimes they'll talk about picometers and so on and so forth, and that will be numbers that are like 10 to the negative numbers. And for that, that's mostly something you'll see in like biology, chemistry, physics, every now and then. But the same rules apply. As long as you know how many zeros, how many steps are between each of the units, then you're good to go and you're golden. So I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope this helps you on your next quiz or exam, and I will see you in the next video.